Most real estate agents don't sell it anywhere near as much as they want to for two major reasons. First is they don't generate anywhere near enough leads in order to hit their goals. And number two is they really don't have a sales process to convert those leads at a high level. So I've covered that second point a ton on our channel. In this video, I'm going to share how I generate over 1,400 leads every single month for my company. I'm going to break screen share and go through the entire thing so you can see this. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Christian Stubbs. I'm a team leader and owner of Onyx Homes, and I'm going to break down how we have sold over 800 homes for about $800 million since the year 2020. And a huge part of it is because we have always generated a ton of leads. I'm going to break this video into 5 different categories. The first one's going to be partnerships. Then we're talking about your basic Google and Meta ads. Then we're talking about content, so our evergreen and our social channels. And then fifth, I'm going to talk about email marketing, and then I have a bonus for you as well too. So if you see me looking down here, I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure I've got this accurate for you as well too. All right, so section number 1 is going to be talking about partnerships. Now, this is not necessarily going to be relevant for everybody, because nowadays most of these partnerships, when we say partnerships, think of we are a massive Zillow Flex team, we are a big Realtor.com partner, we have also been partnerships with HomeLight and Fast Expert, and you name any referral partner we are partnered with. So for you right now to generate more leads, I would highly recommend at least going and signing up with all of these different companies. Now, I will give you a big fat caveat that most of these nowadays have got smart enough that they realize there is a pay to play element, meaning they want to partner with larger teams, or at least people who have sales process and teams built out so that the leads actually get converted. So just because you go sign up for Realtor.com or OpCity or try to get on Zillow Flex does not mean you're going to get lead flow from them. So this is something where you want to go sign up for all the things, but don't expect a tremendous amount of lead flow from them. I will say about a year ago, I decided to make an intention that I would find out how each partnership works, and I would double down on that partnership. So for example, our Zillow Flex partnership, we have like 4x'd the level of lead flow from that partnership because we went all in on this about 2 years ago. Our Realtor.com partnership, about a year and a half ago, I reached out to a rep and I said, hey, how do I become the best partner for Realtor.com? They told me, I spent money with them, go figure. They sent us more leads plus the ones we were buying. That was a good partnership there as well too. And then you can do that same playbook. So find a rep. You might even have to go to LinkedIn for some of these companies. It's crazy, but it's hard to find people that you can actually talk to. But go find a sales rep who can tell you at least what to do, maybe with your profile, to get more leads from them. I'm gonna link in the description below all of the different referral partners that we do generate leads from. However, transparently, the biggest one by mile is Zillow Flex for us, then Realtor.com right below that, and I would say probably Fast Expert right below that. So that's number 1 is partnerships. I'm not gonna spend very much time on that because that's probably the hardest thing for you to go and replicate. Now, the second thing I'm gonna talk about is probably the easiest thing to replicate, but it does cost money. So this is the second thing that I did when I was spending money. If you don't know my background story, my first 6 months, I did the solo, I did open houses, and then I started this company, Onyx Homes, and we started spending a lot of money as we started doing deals. So I went from basically $1,200 to $25,000 to $35,000 a month on Zillow when we were buying leads, pay to play. And I made the biggest mistake of my career in not, when we switched from $25,000 a month in Zillow spending, when we flipped to Flex, I made the biggest mistake of one of the biggest mistakes of my career is I took that $25,000 and I dumped it into something new. I put it in Realtor.com Market VIP, and that literally almost bankrupted me. I spent $75,000 and got out of the contract in 3 months because the leads were such low quality. Instead, what I should have done is I should have looked at what was I already doing that was working. Well, what was working and what was about 10% of all of our deal flow was Google pay-per-click. Now, if you've done Google pay-per-click before, you would be amazed at how many of your problems could be solved by simply going ahead and doing math. So what I ended up not doing when I put that money into Realtor.com is I did not do the math, and let me show you the equation here. So we are looking for CAC. If you do not know what this stands for, it stands for Customer Acquisition Cost. Basically cost per deal, right? If I was to put this in English. So I want to know what this is. Now, how do you find this out? So your CAC is going to equal your cost per lead, your CPL, divided by your conversion rate. So when I invested all of that money into Realtor.com, one, it was new, which was the wrong thing to do. The second thing is I didn't do this formula. Because if I would have, I would look at the formula that we follow to grow, which we follow Alex Ramos's, more, better, new. Right? And it's as simple as more is better than better. Better is better than new. And if you can do more better, even better. Kind of a pun there. But anyway, I was spending about $10,000 a month on Google pay-per-click, right? So $10,000 per month was equaling me 10% of all of my business. So we were getting leads at about $25 per lead, CPL. Okay, so let's fill in this formula. Customer acquisition cost equals $25 cost per lead divided by conversion rate. So we were converting at 0.5. So yes, half of 1%. And what this does is, let's break out a calculator. 25 divided by 0.005. So this is a $5,000 customer acquisition cost. And this was profitable for us, even with this bad of a conversion rate. We now know that we can dramatically increase this conversion rate. But even with this still made sense. And the problem is, because I didn't do math, I invested $25,000 a month into something that was never going to be profitable instead of doing more of what was already working. And it was already 10% of my business. So here's the reality that I have learned with Google pay-per-click. And I've learned this lesson twice, plus, let's say, meta retargeting. Right, you get the point. So here's the reality, is you can buy a $25 cost per lead, or you could go to Zillow and buy or let's say Realtor.com, and you can buy a $250 lead. Well, the reality is, I'm going to get 10x the leads. And yes, that means there's more that you have to work. You're also going to have a longer sales cycle, right? So longer sales cycle. But you get 10x the leads. And not to mention is if you layer in the rest of the stuff that we're going to talk about, your conversion rate will just go up and up and up and up, and you're going to be building a database that is worth gold. That is the number one mistake that I would have made. If I would have simply put the extra 25K into this, if you just do the math, 25K, I would have been doing at a 5% or at a $25 cost per lead. This would have been an extra 1,000 leads per month times 0.5%. So that, I can't do math, 1,000 times 0.005. This would have been, for us, 5 more deals per month, which is 60 per year. And if you're wondering, my average price point is $1 million times 2.5% is a lot of money, right? Versus almost going bankrupt because of a lead source that never would have made sense. I would have scaled my company. If I would have been doing this over the last 5 years instead of what I chose to do, my company would have grown dramatically. Having said that, this is what we're doing again. We are spending money on Google pay-per-click. I'm going to put this screen share up on here. Last month we had 1,459 leads, which was up from 432. Why is that? Because we started, this is taking quarter over quarter, we started spending this about 120 days ago. We already have deals under contract with them, and we have 102 appointments just from this lead source. If you're wondering how much I'm spending now, I'm spending about $15,000 per month on Google, and then about $5,000 a month on retargeting, which is Google plus Meta. You get the point, right? That's that. What I would recommend doing is always the formula: customer acquisition cost equals cost per lead divided by conversion rate, right? CVR stands for conversion rate. That's the math. This is the equation you want before you ever pull out your credit card. You pull out a calculator. That's like needs to be on a billboard for team leaders. Okay. Anyway, the second thing here is, why do I think buyers leads are greater than seller leads? Well, there's two reasons. Number one, for me personally, I was jumping out of production, so I wasn't going to be listing the houses myself. Number two is 1 in 5 buyers sell, right? 1 in 5 buyers also need to sell, meaning there's 2 deals here. So the other thing is, seller leads are 5x more money. So I could have 1 seller lead or 5 buyers. And now that we know 1 out of 5 buyer leads actually buy and sell, this actually makes more sense to me personally. You might think totally differently, but this is why we intentionally, almost exclusively advertise for buyer leads, is because buyers turn into sellers. You're building a massive database, which also turns into sellers longer down the road. If you're able to extend your time horizon of how you look at things, you will likely generate more leads. So if I was starting over you, if you dropped me in a random market tomorrow and I had a credit card, this is what I would end up doing. Now, if I did not have a credit card, I would jump to what I do on number 3. So I'm going to go ahead and go to our YouTube channel. All about OC. So organic content is as close to free as you're going to get, and you can continue to do it, especially if you have a long-term cycle. So I'm going to put up this screen share here. This was a grab from the last 365 days on our YouTube channel. So we really started seriously looking into this about a year ago. We started 3 years ago. So just in this last year, we have had almost 400,000 views. Now, mind you, I don't go viral on any of this stuff. It's super boring. It's me talking about Orange County. We have 1,600, almost 1,700 subscribers. At now, 3 years in, we are gaining about 60 subscribers a week right now. And in the year, we have almost 400,000 views, 6,500 hours of watch time, and we've gained almost 1,000 of the 1,700 subscribers in just the last year. Right, so you can see these massive increases. The reason for this is we have spent the last 3 years building a library of us as the expert in the field. Now, when I say us, I film in this exact same studio. Even me filming this for you as an agent right now, I just finished filming 3 videos for this YouTube channel. So total lifetime, we have 500,000 views. In the last 30 days, we have 60,000 views. So 10% of all of our views have come in the last 30 days. So this is where you see this chart where it's growing towards the end, right? If you can take 0 and then start to see success in year 1, year 2, in year 3, we are just starting to see success. This here has generated about 200,000 to 300,000 in GCI. That is directly tracked, meaning like they called in and we know they found us from YouTube, called in, website, whatever. We know that's how they found us. There's a lot of other people that have found us as well too. So this is something that if you can get into it and stick to it, highly recommend it. Now, moving on to, that was number 3. Moving on to number 4 is social. So in the last 120 days, so 4 months ago, we added on social, Instagram, and TikTok. So YouTube, think long form videos like this. Social, think minute to 3 minute videos that are short and punchy to drive more awareness. So we started 120 days ago, and here are, I'm going to pull up on my screen here. I'm going to pull up the Instagram account, and then I'm also going to pull up the TikTok account. So in the last 5 months on TikTok, we have 8,700 followers, 130,000 likes, and we are putting out 3 videos every single day, almost 4 videos every day on TikTok on both the channels. Now, a big part of this is we thought we were just going to be doing home tour videos, right? I'm out in the field doing home tours. Now, mind you, I don't sell at all anymore. We only do this so we can generate more leads for our agents. But what we found was the talking head style videos, for example, this was pulled out of a YouTube video that I filmed probably 2 years ago. So the fast social growth we've had, this is TikTok, 8,400, and we have 4,600 followers already on Instagram. And you can see some of these videos, if you can see views on here, right? Not every video goes viral by any stretch of the imagination, but we do have some that go on here that absolutely crank. If I can find the 5,000, right? You have some on here. We have hundreds of thousands of views on several different videos. And I will say, in the 5 months we've been doing short form, I have got more recognition from the short form than I ever did on the long form. So that's one big thing as well too. This is going to generate us leads for sure, 1,000,000%. We're already doing deals from it in 5 short months, but it's really built on the back of all the content we've made thus far. Now, I will say, social media is not necessarily free. It can be. I recommend, if you don't have a massive budget behind you, that you start with it free. But just for reference, here's my current staff for this. So I would say number one, I have a social media manager, right? So this is a salaried employee. You're probably going to find minimum 50K plus. We pay significantly more than that, but that's minimum what you're going to pay there. So the next thing is a videographer. Now, I don't have a videographer in here. I have a home studio set up that I did pay somebody to come in and actually set up, but I do have a videographer as well too. We have used a contractor here. There's a lot of different ways to pay for that. The next thing is we have editor pool. So we have a handful of different editors. I have one guy that, David, shout out to David, edits all of my long form videos like what you're watching right now. And then we have other people that edit the short form, right? Again, all of this costs money. The next thing we have is the in-house studio, which I just talked about. And then I would say 8+ hours per week of my time, which is very valuable. And I will say the fifth thing that we're doing is we are actually hiring a graphic designer. So if I was to total this entire thing together, I'm spending probably 10 to 15K per month to make the amount of content that we're making, which for reference, if we break this into longs and shorts, right, we're making 5 longs and let's say 30 plus shorts every single week. So this is the team that is required to build out and put out that much content. And we don't even scratch the surface on doing everything we should correctly. That is the thing we're doing right now. Remember I said more, better, new? So last quarter we were focusing on just doing volume. Now we're focusing on doing the same amount of volume, but making all of it better. So that is number 4, is the social media side of it. Now, number 5 is email marketing. So on email marketing, this is something that absolutely crushes. If you do not do this, I highly recommend it. If I go out to a conference and people know me, I will have strangers walk up to me and say, hey, I'm on your email list. Like, I don't know how I got on there, but I really appreciate the emails. I see this on the consumer side. I also see this on the agent side. And they always ask me like, hey, what service do you use to write your emails? And it's like, I am the service. I actually take the time to write an email. And here's the reason why. My consumer newsletter is 15,000 people. My agent list is like 17, 18,000 people. So if I'm going to sit here and craft a message and ask a small baseball stadium or a concert venue full of people to listen to my message, I'm going to actually spend time on it. So every single week, every Friday, we send a newsletter to our consumer list of, let's say, 15,000 people. And we usually get a 30 to 45% open rate on those on that list. So let's just say it's low, it's a 30% open rate. We're getting at least 5, 6, 7,000 people that are opening my email every single week, and thousands of people clicking on the links that are inside of that, whatever the call to action might be. So this is something that drives a tremendous amount of value to our customers, is our email marketing. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you're not on my email lists, highly recommend dropping. I'm going to put the links in the description below. Go ahead and register just to see how we do it on the consumer side. And then you definitely want to be on the agent facing side because you get way more context than just these videos on my email list as well too. This is the silent killer. So here's a screenshot of the last 90 days. We have sent 430,000 emails. Yes, 430,000 emails. Let me make very clear. This is not listing alerts. These are handwritten emails from me, not AI, handwritten emails by me that go out. 430,000 of them, 37.2% open rate with a 3.91% click rate, meaning that we are sending valuable, relevant information that people are opening and clicking on consistently. This is the silent killer of our database. This is how we convert a database to be worth gold long term. Now, massive bonus points is we can now loop into our email marketing all the content that we're making as well too. So we can take our email subscriber list and we can make content, and it's the same content talking to both of them. So people that like reading can read, people that like watching the videos can watch the videos. And the last but not least thing that I will say is I'm just going to go to onyxhomes.com, and this is the cohesiveness of taking all the content that you make and dialing in your sales process. So how does this relate to deals? Well, it's very simple. If I am making content talking about how we take a buyer from the research phase to close transaction, our sales process is we will do a free touring agreement. We will show them property for a week. We will go window shopping, and then we will set up a buyer strategy session. So if you come here to our website, onyxhomes.com, and you are a buyer, I can see the free touring services that we offer. You can see everything about it, and then break down that same content. And yes, this was an email we sent to our database. We have window shopping, and yes, this was an email we sent to our database. But this breaks down what is window shopping. Last but not least, we have our buyer strategy session, which breaks down the most valuable thing we offer to our buyers by a mile. Right? So we have this entire thing broken down here. So our website, our scripting, our content, the sales process that we follow, all of it talks together. And this is something that has increased conversion rates across the board more than I could ever imagine. So I hope you found this valuable. If you are an agent in Southern California while I'm here, you can come to our website, onyxhomes.com. You can click this join our team button. You can check out how we are helping our agents sell way more houses way faster by following a proven sales process and having leads. If you're not in Orange County, I highly recommend you joining our free real estate community. The link is going to be in the description below. I look forward to seeing you in there. Make sure to comment on this video with your takeaway, share it to somebody else, and I will see you in the next one.